Recently, Jungkook and Taehyung were spotted at a very special moment, their friend Kim Jong-kook's wedding. The celebration was private, reserved only for their closest friends, and yet they decided to attend together. This led many to start talking again about how close they are, because it's not the first time they've been seen supporting each other in situations that are clearly important to both of them. Although there weren't many photos of the wedding, various media outlets in Korea confirmed that Taehyung was indeed there, and they did so together. This news caught attention because, in recent months, they have left several signs that they share much more than just coincidences. They've gone to the gym side by side, they've been seen dining at private places like Nobu, and Jungkook even mentioned on a live stream that he used to go for walks with Taehyung in the mornings. Now, added to all that, their joint presence at a personal event like a wedding seems to reaffirm what many already see clearly. The important detail here is that everything happens so simply. These aren't planned appearances or forced moments. What they show is natural. They choose to share their time in everyday activities, but also in important celebrations. And it's precisely this consistency that makes people see in Taekook a relationship that grows every day. That Kim Jongkook invited them isn't surprising. He knows them and understands that where one goes, the other almost always follows. That closeness is something that no longer goes unnoticed. Through small scenes, such as a quiet meal, a spontaneous live stream, or even a family event, they make it clear that they enjoy being together. And in the end, that's what really matters. For many fans, each appearance of Taekook is a reminder of the strong bond between them. And even if they don't speak directly about their feelings, the way they accompany each other speaks volumes. In the end, words aren't necessary when everyday gestures tell the story alone. The wedding, in this case, was more than a simple event. It was further confirmation that at key moments, Jungkook and Taehyung seek each other out and choose each other. This reinforces the idea that their relationship isn't limited to sharing stages or professional activities, but also occupies an important place in their personal lives. As time has passed, what were once rumors have now become visible facts. These aren't occasional encounters, but a repeating pattern, training together, sharing private dinners, speaking naturally on broadcasts, attending special events. All of this shows that their relationship continues to move forward. Kim Jongkook's wedding was not only an important day for him, but also a new chapter for Taehyung. Another example of how, when it comes to moments that matter, Jungkook and Taehyung prefer to experience them together. And that constant choice, repeated over and over again, is what keeps alive the hope that they themselves will soon take a bigger step. In recent days, there has been talk of Jungkook and Taehyung going out for a night in Hannam-dong. Some witnesses claim to have seen them at Bangul and Komak, a well-known pub and restaurant in the area. One person commented that while they're having a drink, they noticed the two of them sharing a table together. Apparently, things started off peacefully. Taekook arrived, sat down, and seemed ready to have a meal without any problems. The place is famous for its fresh seafood and its classic atmosphere, which makes it attractive to celebrities and regular customers. It's not unusual for it to fill up quickly, so many believe Jungkook and Taehyung likely made a reservation to secure a spot. However, shortly after they settled in, things changed. Several customers began to recognize them, and little by little, more people began to approach them. The idea of having a relaxing evening became complicated, and that's why they ended up leaving early. Although they couldn't stay long, their intention was clear: to share a moment together in a different place. These types of outings have become commonplace in recent months. We've seen them working out at the gym, dining at exclusive restaurants like Nobu, enjoying morning walks, or joining each other at private celebrations like their friend Kim Jongkook's wedding. Hannam-dong's stay adds to that list of plans that demonstrate how much they enjoy spending time together. What stood out in this case was how they handled the situation. Even though people began to approach each other, Jungkook and Taehyung remained calm, without losing the closeness they always display when sharing space. They didn't do anything to attract attention, they were simply enjoying dinner like any couple would. Something important to note is that although some witnesses spoke on social media about seeing them, no photos or videos have been shared. This is positive because it shows that there are still people who prefer to respect their privacy. Jungkook and Taehyung deserve to have personal moments without feeling watched over their every move. If one day they decide to share that experience, it will be because they chose to, not because someone exposed them. Beyond the details, what's clear is that Taehyung continues to build memories together. It might be a meal at a hidden restaurant, a night out, or even a simple date. The important thing is that they seek each other out and accompany each other in different spaces of their daily lives. Each of these scenes ultimately shows that they enjoy being side by side. In conclusion, the outing to Bangul and Comac was just another example of how Jungkook and Taehyung continue to find time to share, even if they sometimes have to change their plans due to the public eye. Although this time the dinner was short, the simple fact that they chose to spend that night together is enough to understand what it means to them. And the best thing will be that, in the meantime, those who follow them know how to respect those moments and hope that, when they feel like it, they themselves will be the ones who want to share it. When talking about Taehyung and Jungkook, it's not enough to mention that they're bandmates or that they share the stage. What's most striking is how they relate to each other on a daily basis. It's not just about words or what they say in interviews, but the way they communicate without actually speaking. There are clear moments that show this connection. For example, when they're together, it's common to see them holding hands, giving each other small shoulder massages, or looking at each other calmly, as if that glance alone reassures them. These are simple gestures, but loaded with meaning. And the most striking thing is that these attitudes aren't repeated in the same way with the rest of the members. These are things that seem reserved only for Taehyung. This doesn't only happen in front of cameras or on broadcasts. It's also seen in private situations that, over time, end up captured on videos or in preparation recordings before concerts. In these images, you can see how one gives the other energy, how they speak to each other in low voices, or how they try to calm each other down to get ready before going on stage. This constant complicity is repeated in different contexts, and each time it happens, it reinforces the idea that there is something unique between Jungkook and Taehyung. A clear example of this was during a recent outing where some people claimed to have seen them at a restaurant. Although at first they were able to sit and enjoy the place, over time more people began to recognize them and approach them, which made Taehyung decide to leave earlier than expected. Still, what was interesting about that situation was how they reacted, calm, maintaining the same closeness they display on other occasions. There was no change in their attitude, nor did they try to exaggerate anything. They simply continued behaving as they always do, sharing a space they chose to enjoy together. These types of scenes are not isolated. Videos or testimonials frequently appear that confirm the same thing, that Taehyung and Jungkook have a particular way of being around each other. In many recordings, it's noticeable that they react almost automatically to each other's movements. If one approaches, the other follows. If one touches, the other responds without much thought. This naturalness makes it seem like they're in their own world, one where they don't need to talk too much because they already know what the other wants to convey. On several occasions, even in the middle of interviews or behind the scenes, this synchronicity is evident. While the others focus on other things, they find a way to maintain minimal but constant contact. Sometimes it's a touch on the arm, other times a glance that lasts longer than usual, or a gesture of support just when the other needs it. These details, however small, are the ones that most capture the attention of those who observe them closely. The main difference is that they don't seem to plan it. It's not something prepared, but rather arises naturally. That's what generates so much interest in Taekook, no matter whether they're surrounded by cameras, an audience, or even in a more private setting, the connection between them always remains the same. And although there are no direct explanations, the facts are enough to understand that they share a very close relationship. At this point, it's hard to ignore how that dynamic has continued over the years. These aren't isolated gestures, but a constant that repeats itself at different stages and moments in their lives. This repetition speaks of habit, trust, and a bond that goes beyond what many expect to see. What happens with Taekook is that, when you add up all these details, a clear picture emerges: two people who enjoy being together and find simple ways to keep each other company. It could be before a concert, on a night out, at a rehearsal, or at a private event. The important thing is that there are always signs that show how they care for each other.